Hey guys, so today I'm making stewed beef and I'm pairing it with some creamy mashed potatoes. Very easy and delicious meal, so let's get started with the recipe. So I already started seasoning my beef. So the beef I bought it came cut already into small cubes. If you can't find that in your supermarket, you could buy like beef chuck for roast and cut it up into small cubes. All right, and I'll let you guys know what I use to season it. So I use onion powder, garlic powder, salt, black pepper, paprika, ground cumin, and a little bit of green seasoning. All right, and then you want to add in the juice of one lime, and I'm also going to add in a little bit of vinegar and a little bit of olive oil, and just mix all of that into the beef. Cover it and let it marinate overnight or for at least 1 hour. Okay, so I'm getting my pot that I'm cooking the beef in and I'm placing it over medium heat. Once the pot was nice and hot, I added in some oil, just a little bit, to coat the bottom of the pan, and then I'm gonna place the pieces of beef into the pot and let it cook like that for about 2 minutes. Okay, don't throw away the marinade from the beef because we're gonna put it into the pot in a second. All right, so just set it aside. So next I'm gonna add a little bit of browning into my pot. This part is optional, but to give the beef a darker color, I'm gonna add a little bit of it into the pot. Okay, you don't have to add it. If you don't add it, it's still gonna be a nice brown color. All right, so I just want mine to be a little more rich, so I'm adding it in. So add in the browning and mix it into the beef really well. Next I'm gonna add in some sliced up onions. Next, I'm adding in the marinade that was left in the bowl I seasoned my beef in. I'm going to add that into the pot, and I'm also going to add some water, but I'm going to pour the water in the bowl with the marinade first to get all of that into my pot. All right, and pour the water into the beef. You want to add enough water in the beef so it cooks nice and tender. Right, so next I'm adding in a little bit of ketchup. You can use ketchup or like tomato puree, either one works totally fine. Give your pot a stir to mix everything together. So after that, I'm gonna cover my pot and let it come to a boil. Once it comes to like a rolling boil, I'm gonna taste the sauce and adjust any of the seasonings as needed. Okay, so I also added in a little bit of beef bouillon powder, so you can add some of that in your beef as well. Mix everything together, and basically from this point you're gonna cover the beef and let it take its time and cook. All right, mine took about 1 hour and 30 minutes to be fully cooked and nice and tender. All right, you want the beef to be like very tender and soft. That's how you know it's fully cooked. Okay, so while the beef is cooking, I'm gonna get started on cooking the mashed potatoes. So in my pot, I added enough water to cover my potatoes, and I just peel my potatoes and cut it into quarters. All right, so it'll cook faster that way. And I cover the pot. I added a little bit of salt with the potatoes. I cover it and let it come to a boil. Once it starts boiling, you're gonna let the pot cook for about 15 minutes because you want the potatoes to be fully cooked and tender. All right, so once the potatoes are fully cooked, you're gonna remove it off the stove, throw out the water. All right, and let's get ready to make the mashed potatoes. So I'm gonna season up my potatoes first. I'm adding some salt, a little bit of black pepper. If you have white pepper, use that instead. It tastes better with the mashed potatoes. All right, so add in some pepper, and then I'm gonna add a little bit of onion and garlic powder. So next I'm gonna add in some butter and my milk, and then I'm gonna use my potato masher and just mash up the potatoes with all of these ingredients. Then I'm going to use a spoon to like make sure it's really mixed together and everything is well blended. All right, and once your potatoes are nice and creamy, that's it for this recipe. Very simple and easy mashed potato recipe. just make sure you taste it and make sure that it's perfectly seasoned and that you don't need to add any more salt or anything like that, okay? So after about 1 hour, my beef is still a little tough, but it's getting tender. So I'm gonna add in my carrots at this point, okay? So I'm probably gonna cook it for about 30 more minutes. So yeah, I'm gonna add in my carrots, mix the carrots in with the beef, and now would also be a perfect time to add potatoes if you're cooking the beef with potatoes. So usually I cook my stew beef with potatoes, but since I'm pairing it with mashed potatoes, I'm not putting potatoes in the beef today, all right? But if you are, now it's the perfect time to put it in there. I'm also gonna add in about 1 more cup of water because my sauce was drying down and I wanted to have enough sauce in the pot, and I also need liquid in the pot so the carrots and if I added potatoes to cook, all right? So I added a little bit more water, and yeah, I'm just gonna let the beef finish cooking. For the last 5 minutes of cooking, I'm gonna add in some freshly chopped cilantro, mix that in the dish, and then I'm gonna turn it off. And that's it for the stew beef recipe, you guys. Simple, easy, and delicious. All right, so yeah, that's one way to make stew beef, and it's so yummy. So now it's time to plate your food, the mashed potatoes with the stew beef. And today I paired it with some sauteed asparagus, and it was absolutely simple and delicious. So I hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I hope you guys give the recipe a try. If you do, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe so you see my upcoming videos. And as usual, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.